We've done it. We've escaped, and we will not be back for 22 days.
The journey begins.
That's right, we're running away. We're very determined, and it's no secret things have been a bit messed up in the cities right now, so we got in our car and we took off.
So we are going on an epic road trip. We're going to the American West, and we're going to be hitting a lot of the places that have been in our collective bucket list for years. So we brought tons of camera gear. You may have seen that video showing all the camera gear that we're bringing, because we're serious. We're going to be doing as much landscape and travel photography as we possibly can.
This morning, as usual, we left the city down I-90 and we crossed the mountain pass. It's Snoqualmie Pass, which as always was pouring rain, and it's June and we're fed up. Next to us is the Great American West, so we can just hit the road and generally travel southeast, and we'll be heading towards Colorado. Already out of gas because we left with almost none, and now we get our full trunk here in Ellensburg. This is our first stop outside of Seattle after breakfast. As soon as you leave Seattle, we're not even 2 hours away, and we're already in this Wild West type of environment, which is very dry, and we're in a canyon, so it's giving you the Wild West vibes. So we're doing exploration in our own state this first day, and this is one of the main points I want to make here, is that Seattle is on the coast, on the west coast of the USA, but as soon as you cross the mountains, you're already officially in the American West, in the Wild West. That is the famous one from the movies, and this is what we're going to devote our trip to this time.
Yes, this bridge is like wavy. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's waving in the wind. And this is the Yakima River. It's actually a big river which starts in the Cascade Mountains and goes down into the Yakima Valley, where a lot of our agriculture is. So we're taking the canyon road along the river. And as you can see, it's not at all a small river. It's one of many in the state. So we're still near lots of water as we're in Washington. But the more we go towards Utah, the more we'll be going to among the driest parts of the USA.
So cool. I love how there's so many things so close to home for us that we've never seen. So it's like there's endless opportunities to discover things that you never knew about.
This is true. A lot of people don't even know that this canyon is here. This is the closest canyon to the city of Seattle, where in the metro over 4 million people live, but just about everyone I know doesn't even know it's here. We're now in the city of Yakima, which is about 2 hours away from Seattle and grows a lot of Seattle's food. We are not going to stop here because it's close, and we will be doing this extensively in other episodes, but for now we're driving down I-82, which will be taking us to our next two destinations, and we're going to make a stop down the road in Richland, Washington. This is our first proper break in Tri-Cities, Kennewick, Washington, next to the Columbia River.
It feels good. We've been deprived. It's been raining for days, weeks,
months.
You know, typical.
We're gonna burn hard in this trip.
Right now that sounds really good. I don't mind.
So we're taking a little trail here, and we're going to show you why once we get there. For now, it's really to get circulation going after 3 hours in the car. What we have here is a classic Columbia River, what they call a riparian habitat. It means it's immediately next to a river. And you see a total change from just a few hundred yards away.
We saw evidence of there being bears here. So not only are there snakes, but there's bears.
And the reason I chose this place in particular is because in our last check-in we were on the Yakima River in the canyon, following it, and we followed it all the way to its confluence with the Columbia River, which is the biggest river in the region, and all that happens right here. So yeah, this is now the Columbia, the biggest river in the northwest. Hola. ¿Más pescados? No, nada. Nada? There's a big catch.
Uh-huh.
It does not look promising. Often these environments next to the river get quite overgrown, even though we're in a semi-desert here. Right next to the river it becomes a marsh and a forest sometimes. Wow, this has become almost like a jungle now. I have to be ducking the whole time. You probably have easier time.
It's not so bad for me. Yeah, it's just a little bit taller than me. I wonder what all this stuff is. It's like getting all over the trees.
Some kind of parasitic plant. Here's me trying to get through. What I'm getting out of this park so far is that they've carved out little pathways to access the river, and everyone's got their own little fishing spot. What do they call it in English? The thing that the silkworm eats.
Ew.
It's mulberry or...
Mulberry? Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, I think this is what this is. It's actually super messy. When you see the fruits, they smash and they stain hardcore.
Yeah.
So we actually need to watch our shoes after here. We've done it. We've escaped and we will not be back for 22 days. This is the point of this trip, to just escape and keep going and keep running and keep chasing.
Keep looking for new things. This was pretty cool because I haven't seen anything like that before.
Having to go through a dubious trail through the tall grass because we can't connect any other way. This time we got good and accurate information from this cycler. He confirmed that this is the delta of the Yakima River, and right here is the creek, which is the last of its tributaries before the confluence into the Columbia River, which we'll see next. Now off to location 2. Funny enough, we were here immediately after we bought our car, and that was about 5 years ago. This is the island in the middle of the river, and we came from there 2 miles up the road where the Yakima River was. And now we're gonna move down this way to show you what happens right after here. This is the Yakima River Delta, and this is the last remnant of it, is an island. And this way is the much bigger Columbia River now. And this is the biggest river in the Northwest. In fact, to a large degree, it actually gives the Northwest its character. As long as you're on the Columbia, you know we're in the Northwest. And this river continues and divides the region between Washington State and Oregon, and we're soon going to go there. This river is so large that it even has a marina on it. I'm sure actually many marinas. And you can now see the full extent of the Columbia River here. It's very large.
Huge. Look, there's like a bridge out there. It's pretty cool.
This is the bridge we rode the jet ski under.
Oh, that time! We had so much fun, but then they told us later we were going too fast. We shouldn't have been going that fast, but it was fun.
The mission of the day 1, was to escape. I didn't think or plan this too much. I actually, as we're driving, I keep on discovering things to show the audience, you guys. So that's what this day is like. From here on, it's gonna be us being wooed by what we've never seen, so it's gonna differ a bit. One more river stop, but not the last for the day actually, but it is the last in this city.
So this is part of the Sacagawea Heritage Trail or Park, and Sacagawea was a Native American who accompanied the Lewis and Clark expedition. So she was really valuable for making contact with and establishing rapport with the natives during that trip.
Yeah, and it's important that the park is right here because I'll show you why. This is the end of the Snake River, which is a very large and famous river. It runs for 2,000 miles. And that down there is the Columbia River, which is what the Snake River now converges with. And on that side, the Columbia River continues all the way to the Pacific Ocean. This is happening only just a few miles away where the Yakima River entered the Columbia. So we have in Tri-Cities, Washington, 3 big rivers join together, and that's why this is an important place and a big growing city is here. It's actually one of the most desired locations in Washington State to move to. Our 5-year-old Subaru Impreza. We in fact bought it brand new with the cash we made from our company with our photos and videos. Alright, we officially crossed into Oregon over the Columbia River just now, and it's an area called Umatilla, but we're on our 2nd state for the road trip already on day 1. So we're moving along quite nicely towards our stop for the night, which is a small Wild West town called Pendleton. It's our first hotel.
Looks pretty retro, like the Flintstones.
Let's check it out. Alright, we got the keys to room 123.
123.
Yes, easy. How much do you think we're paying to stay in Pendleton, Oregon?
How much are we paying? Let's see. 120?
It's $40.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Score.
Let's see what a $40 room in Pendleton gets you.
Smells like
Smoke.
cigarettes.
Huh. Yeah, well, I guess that comes with the $40.
I guess it's not a non-smoking room, but hey, that's all right. One night we can deal with that.
Okay, this is a non-smoking room.
It doesn't smell like
It
it.
smells very much like cigarette.
Yes.
Wow, look at this relic. It's got the red button and everything. And this is the part of the world we're in, really, of the country too. So it's an old style, vintage stuff. There hasn't been much renewal here exactly. Most of Eastern Oregon, in fact, there is nothing going on. But this town in particular, and we'll explain in a bit, there is something going on.
Well, it's inevitable that on a trip you forget to bring things. So this trip started with me realizing I forgot to bring my big windbreaker jacket, which is going to be really essential when we get to colder areas. And then right now I realized I didn't bring my wallet.
Guess I'm paying for everything in the next 3 weeks.
First time ever! I've never done that on a trip. And I think about it and I'm like, usually you need a wallet to fly in an airplane. So usually that's where you realize it. But no, we got all the way to another state. Literally another state, just got to Oregon.
Yeah, this trip doesn't allow for backtracking, so...
Exactly! So, but I brought all the camera gear, which apparently was too much on my mind.
Yeah, so we'll have to see whether we can get into bars. That's the only thing I can think could be a problem.
This is when my youthful good looks work against me.
Yeah. Well, back to where we are. This is Pendleton, Oregon. And it's very much a cowboy-themed town. We have to eat, but we also have limited daylight, so we have to see a bit of town. So that's what's our debate right now. But I think we're gonna walk a bit and then we can eat. All the cowboy hats are here. They're nice too. We have a classic scene of the Wild West here with a native chief, and he's staring down a cowboy right on the other side of the road.
Most photographed chief in America. That's what the plaque says.
That is the claim.
So last time we were here during the Pendleton Rodeo, but we came here not knowing that. But it was pretty full. We actually thought about going to see one of the rodeo events, but you know, that was a long trip of other things, so we decided to just come back. Yeah,
we didn't have any time, and now we do have about half a day here, plus some hours in the morning. One of the many rivers we've seen today. This one we're staying on pretty much. We are like 2-3 blocks away from it. So pretty crazy here. We just saw a very huge white bird, and it's in the middle of the desert. Yeah, there's the heron.
Let's go attacking it again.
Yeah, it is attacking. Well, they're fighting. So there's a heron fighting a pelican, and we don't have a zoom lens. I'm going through thorns to try to get a closer shot with my mid-range lens. I'm not making this up. There's a giant pelican in the middle of a desert city, and it's fighting with a heron. Well, I missed the pelican because I had no memory card, because I was emptying them diligently last night before the trip. So it moved down the river. I'll try to catch it there. Now I gotta get myself out of this. Oh, and there's deer droppings all over the place. Or elk maybe. So it took us embarrassingly long to find the river walk, but I think we finally did.
We're on the wrong side.
Yeah, on the wrong side. We didn't have our lens. We ran into pelicans fighting herons.
This is a cool mural though, look.
Yeah.
Dancer ducks. We got the kingfisher. We got some trout. Or salmon. I don't know which ones those are. Pelicans and the heron. I've learned all about birds.
And here we go. River Parkway. We are here, and it's long. It goes that way, all the way, and this way.
Goldfinch. Gotta find the goldfinch. Oh, and the flicker.
Looks like we have some words of wisdom here. When the white people were first observed by the Indian people, it created curiosity. They owned a great many ponies. They were friendly to us. Well, since we couldn't catch it, here's a depiction of what we just saw, almost. But these are two herons, and they're probably courting, and instead we saw a heron fighting a pelican.
Which would have been more cool, honestly, but hey, that's okay. Can't always get everything.
A long river walk. It's one of the main activities in town when the rodeo is not here. The other activity is whiskey bars.
Over 125 species of birds have been seen on the parkway.
That's crazy. So it's the Umatilla River,
Yeah.
which is the area we entered as soon as we got into Oregon. Right. We caught up to the Pelican and we have the lens, so I'm gonna do this. I don't have my longest lens because it's heavy, but I can do with this. And here's how you do animals. You shoot first, so you make sure you get the shot, and then you start closing in and shooting, and then in case you scare them, you got something.
This pelican is so big. We saw some in Naples in Florida, but we haven't really seen them in the Northwest before. But you can't miss them when you see them. They are so huge and they're like a bright white.
I got my shot here, so I'm gonna get off the path and go down there. It was pretty eventful actually. We got up and we went over the pass of the Cascades, and then we started tracking the Yakima River, and we went through its canyon, and we went through the whole Yakima Valley up until the point it flows into the Columbia River. And then we even took a peek at the Snake River.
But yeah, this is the first day of like 22 days I think that we had planned. So we're gonna be going for a long time, which is why we packed so much stuff, and it was easy to forget things along the way. But we brought all the important camera gear, and even saw and photographs, or saw and filmed pelicans today.
Steakhouse Saloon. It is a Wild West trip. Ooh. Social distancing, standing room unavailable. What a surprise. We thought there's nothing going on in this town. We come into this giant saloon and it's actually full, so we have to sit at the bar.
I'll be right with you guys in just a moment.
Thank you. If you ask me for the theme of this trip, this place is a huge win. I've actually never been to a saloon like this. Well, we're checking things off the list, and this whiskey is from here. Pendleton whiskey is pretty famous actually, and it's really delicious. Yeah, the food came and it's good. Yeah, it's very nice and warm after a whole day of getting tired out there. And it was actually a cold day. This is June, what's up with that? It's cold, but warm food. Yeah, right now, warm food and whiskey is really where it's at. The morning is good.
Yes.
But the night was not so good. If you remember, I was gloating how I booked a $40 hotel last night. Oops. Well, this was quite interesting actually, because we kept hearing really a lot of noise of people raging all night, like literally, and we didn't know why. And I kept thinking about it because I had lots of time to think since I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
what could be the case, and I could only explain this behavior with meth.
And to be fair, they were in good spirits. So it's not like we were. I mean, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, I hope they don't start throwing punches or hear some gunshots or, you know, break into windows. But nothing like that happened. There was no violence from what we could tell. They were just honestly having a good time. It was just, it lasted all night long.
Yeah, literally until 7 o'clock
Yeah.
it kept going, and I could only explain that with meth or some other drug like that. And then you Google this.
There are some 1-star reviews, 0-star reviews, and people are like saying exactly what we went through. Like, oh, there's some shady characters around here, and there are some homeless people. And we were like, homeless? So then I started Googling it, and sure enough, this hotel started housing homeless people as of like March 19th.
Because of the pandemic. So such things have happened in the Northwest, at least, where they decided to prevent the spread. They'll house the homeless in hotels, and apparently they chose this one. I didn't know that when I was booking. The reviews overall were quite good, and what ended up happening is it kept us up all night. We were not at all in any kind of danger, truly.
No, I don't think so. I mean, it depends, I guess, on your comfort level.
Even if you book a hotel with good reviews, that seems fine online. Turns out it may have been given to the homeless, and they'll do meth all night and scream all night. So the good news is from here on it's all uphill, because I actually only booked a cheap hotel here. Oh no, are you staying there?
No, I'm not staying here.